Welcome to the Life Lift Podcast, the podcast for the ambitious, the purpose-driven, and the ones who know they're meant for more. If you're ready to unlock the next version of yourself, you're in the right place.
Hey everyone, I'm Kaly.
And I'm Adam, and this podcast is for people who are done playing small. Whether you're building a business, rethinking your identity, or just craving more from life.
We're two friends, entrepreneurs and growth junkies who have built businesses, hit burnout, and found our way back to purpose. And now we're here to help you do the same, but faster, clearer, and without breakdown. Let's get started.
Hi, and welcome to the Life Lift Podcast with Adam and Kaly. Today we are going to be speaking all about what it means to become waterproof. And in life, you have the ability to choose and to determine your future based off how you treat yourself, how you treat other people, how you care for yourself, and how you really safeguard what is really most precious to you. And for me, that's your mind and your heart as an individual person, your energy and how that works. So today we're going to talk about really some of the things that we've learned over the years. And we've shared a very common thing recently, which we're going to talk to you guys about in a second. But today we're talking really about how to become waterproof and what that means and how to really become a robust person to safeguard your feelings, thoughts, and emotions. So to kickstart, many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with the book, The Let Them Theory. And if you aren't familiar with that book, then I really want to encourage you to go and read it because it's a brilliant, brilliant book. And both you and I, you actually told me about this book. So if you haven't read it, I totally recommend that you read it.
Everyone should read it. It should be part of school curriculum.
I agree. Why? So first of all, you saw it before I did and read it before I did. So how did you come about finding it?
So I actually listened to it in a podcast first and then was so intrigued by the theory that I decided to read the book. And it is something that I almost use as like a diary. So every now and then I'll go and read a couple of chapters again just to remind myself, to recenter. I saw it as a reel, it was a sound clip on social media. And it was Mel Robbins saying, you know, if people don't invite you to their party, let them. If they don't text you back, let them. If they didn't compliment you on something that you had made for them, let them. And I thought, how strange. Like, why would I let somebody do that? Because I would never do that to them. Yeah. And as an empath, I find it really difficult to let them. And so I'm constantly still trying to rewire my brain and to believe as the let them theory is like my way of life now, which it is. For 80% of the time it is. But we were having a chat about, I think it was business, and somebody had disappointed you or they hadn't turned up for you the way that you had expected them. And I thought, it's time for Adam to listen to this podcast, and then eventually went onto the book. But it's liberating. It's like freedom. Like when you let go of the shackles of expectations of somebody else and just let them do them so you can do you. It's the most complete protection of your energy ever. And it's so important to have that in all aspects of your life so that you can become truly waterproof. I think some people confuse being strong as an individual with being stubborn or antisocial or arrogant. And it's not that. I'm an empath and I love to love, but I also want to protect my peace. I shouldn't be an empath at a detriment. And that's what the Let Them theory teaches you to do. Yeah, I agree. But that's how I came into it, and that's kind of how I utilize it in my everyday life. But like I said, it's still a learning curve. It's a struggle. Like sometimes I get really caught up. I shared a couple of things that happened to me this morning with you, and I'm like, I'm surprised at how much it's affecting me. But I'm going to recenter today, and I'm going to let it be. Yeah. Just let it happen. What do you use it? You use it professionally mostly?
No, so the Let Them theory for me has really, it gave me the license to cut myself some slack, actually. And so when you recommended the book to me and the podcast, so I listened to the podcast first and then I bought the book. And I've now since bought it for so many of my team to read. Really? Connor's read it too. At some point, I'm going to pass it over to my kids to read as well because it's a brilliant book to read. But I use it in a way that sometimes, and I'm sure you, as you're listening to this, are probably in the same boat. Sometimes we take on other people's baggage, and we try and carry that weight. I almost see it as like when you absorb someone else's energy, or you take on someone else's burden or their load. It is like filling a rucksack with a bag of rocks that you don't need to carry.
It's going to get heavier.
And you've got your own bag to carry. But a lot of people, and certainly I know people, I can think of their faces in my mind right now. I can see them, who they take on other people's baggage, and then they wonder why life seems so hard.
Yeah.
And actually, when you take on other people's stuff, it not only slows you down because you can't run as quickly, you're not as agile, you're bogged down trying to then either be really empathetic with all these other people and be a friend to them all. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'll come back to that in a second. But it slows down who you are as an individual. And you know, the reality is that it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, when you take on other people's stuff.
It's heavy.
Yeah, like you'll be the same. You know, you see people all day long, and I'm the same, not to the same extent as you, but you know, when people get you, they almost want to tell you all their problems.
Oh my God, I'm a therapist.
Sorry, I spat at you then. I'm so sorry.
I tell you,
I'm quite moist
like
today. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Very wet here.
So when people like offload onto you like that, literally, as I just did,
I take it. I absorb it.
Yeah.
And more ways than one.
That dress just did, yeah.
And this is why I couldn't work in hospital, because in hospital, everyone is unwell. You're being referred because it's more serious, it needs secondary care. I would leave hospital and there'd be nothing left. Like, I actually have nothing left. All I've done is absorbed and absorbed and absorbed. And especially when I worked in oral medicine, and it was, you know, diagnosis of oral cancers or pemphigus, pemphigoid, autoimmune disorders. Like, it was never good news.
Yeah.
If you're being referred for a biopsy, it's not going to be good news.
Yeah.
And I was exhausted at the end of the year. I remember I was given the opportunity to stay on. I thought, over my dead body, I can't do it. In aesthetics, it's different. In private practice, it's different. People are there because they want to be. And 99% of the time, they're happy and everything's good. But some people's dogs die, mothers die very suddenly, somebody's crashed their car, they've lost their job. I take that, especially with my patients that now I've not opened my diary for a long time. It's the same people that I'm seeing all the time. So I've built a rapport. I'm invested in their lives. I want to know how that date went. How was the wedding? What did the mother-in-law do? And I take it with me. Like, the amount of times I come home and I call Alex on the way and he says, "How's your day?" And I'm like, "Let me tell you." And I also need to like offload that energy somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I would never change that about me. I think it's important to be an empath, and I want my patients to know that I am genuinely, maybe too invested, but I need to somehow learn to protect my heart. I should be able to go to sleep and not feel the pain that they feel to the same extent.
Yeah.
Like, I will empathize always. But it's really hard when you're exposed to that amount of people all the time.
Definitely.
I'm not a robot.
Yeah.
And as much as I want to slow it down, it just can't. It's really difficult. Whereas you're seeing people and you're choosing who you're seeing.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't get to choose, they choose me.
I think for me, whenever I would be doing a speech, there's usually like a dinner or a lunch, and I used to always sit with everybody else. I don't do that anymore. Because whenever I'm at a table, it's like free counseling for the table. So, and they get me for 1 hour to tell me all their problems and all of their, well, what would you do in this situation? And not having that time to actually, and also I'm not there to, you know, be part of the group. I'm there to teach them something.
So it's a different level.
So it's kind of different. And I think even with my team, I don't generally sit in lunchtime with everybody. I'll usually have my lunch for a quick 5-10 minutes, and then I'll leave them to it.
Yeah.
Because
to have their space.
Yeah, have their space, because also I'm their boss. So, you know, sometimes they may not want to say certain things in front of me, or, you know, even just me being in the room maybe changes the energy a little bit. But also, it's not good for me either, because I need to
separate from that dynamic.
I think on a more difficult level, when people have got problems. So in my family, I'm one of the ones that when something goes wrong, I'm the one that gets the phone call.
Yeah. Oh my God, me too.
I'm the bailout police. Yeah.
We're the glass child.
Exactly.
Have you heard of the glass child?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We are the glass child.
Yeah. Do you want to explain what that is if people haven't listened?
Absolutely. So the glass child is the child that grew up in the family dynamic that was always like, she's going to be fine. She's got her own feet. And I, as a parent, I'm too busy trying to figure out these two that need more help. So in my family, I'm one of three. My sister is such a sweetheart, daddy's little girl. We all kind of like mother her, and she's fine on her own, by the way, but she just needed that extra hand holding. And I was born as a twin, so my family, the attention was split anyway, but also because I'm so self-sufficient, I then became the glass child. 18 months later, my brother was born, and he's the only boy, the youngest. He was like,
the golden boy.
We love you, Shad. And he deserves it. He's the best. He's the best guy. And as a mom now, I understand the dynamic. Yeah. But I then became the glass child. I was fine on my own. I didn't need the extra hand holding. If I fell, I was going to stand up on my own. I didn't need the cuddles and kisses. Yeah. And then that led on to our adult life. So I'm the get out of jail free card. Somebody's crashed their car. We don't call mom. We call me. Mm-hmm. Somebody's having financial problems. We call me. Relationship issues. We call me. I can't get my dog to be. It's all me. And I love being that person for my family. But also, like, who's looking out for me?
Yeah.
Like, I need it too.
Yeah.
But there's always a glass child. And I think as a fellow glass child, I'm only then attracted to other glass children that get it.
Yeah.
I can't be with an only child. You just can't. Yeah. An only child had all the attention. They had all the resources. They never had to fend for themselves. Glass children and only children don't work. See, when you're dating, you got to figure out who you're dating. Is it the glass child or is it an only child syndrome? Because it just doesn't work.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And that's how we just get it, because you're always the go-to person professionally, in your relationships, in your family dynamic. And when I say family, I mean like the family that you've created and the one that you're into. Mm-hmm. And so you're constantly having that emotional load, your backpack. And some of that load we don't choose to carry. It's just given to us. Yeah. I don't want to be the get out of jail free card girl. Like it's an incredible amount of pressure. And when I went off on maternity leave, the biggest thing on my back front was like, what if something was to go wrong now with the fam and they come to me and I can't provide? Mm-hmm. So I took 6 weeks off with my first child and only 8 with my second, because that child in me was like, you got to turn up. Yeah. Like, we can't take a break. Whereas my brother and my sister could take a year off. Yeah. They could take a sabbatical and it would be fine. Could we ever take a sabbatical personally or professionally? You probably could for a cruise. But I mean, like, in life though. Saucer
of milk for table too, please.
For Virgin, I would do anything.
You're right. Yeah. You're right though. But I think this is what I learned from the book, in that it's not my responsibility. This is what I learned.
See, I've not learned that yet.
This is what I learned. And not just with family, but like, I learned that it's not up to me to fix everybody else's problems. And this is what Mel Robbins talks about in the book, how she wanted to dive in at the beginning of the book. If you haven't read it, she talks about this story she was taking her son to a prom and it's raining, they'd not booked anywhere. And her instinct is to dive in and fix it. Mm-hmm. And it was her daughter who said, no, you got to just let them. Yeah. Like, if he gets soaked in the rain, let him. He's not took a jacket. That's not your fault. That's his fault. And also, if he gets soaked in the rain and they're having pizza or burritos or whatever it was that they were going for, then who cares? You're not going to the prom anyway.
Yeah.
So I think this is what I've learned from the book, is that it is not my responsibility to make anybody else happy.
Yeah. Apart from yourself.
Apart from myself, yeah. And this, for me, it's affected every part of my life. My relationship with Connor, my kids, my friendships, my business, the way I treat people at work. Because when we have this, you and I will be very similar to this, is that I used to think, well, if I'm not there, or if I don't step in,
it's going to go tits up.
It's all going to go bad.
That's me.
But who said it was my job anyway? And this is what I've learned, is that the only person that's keeping me in that role as needed to be the fixer is me.
And I don't want to do it.
And I'm done with it, yeah. And so I had somebody that I was dealing with, and they were putting they took a lot of my time and my energy, and they affected me in a really big way last year. Mm-hmm. And I got to the point where I just thought, I've lost 2 holidays, my 40th birthday, pretty much, to this person. And it wasn't because they're a bad person. It was just the situation.
Yeah.
And I had to come to the point where I think I had to, and it was just at the time that you told me about the book. And as I read it, I thought, you know what? I am letting this situation, I'm giving it too much air for the flames to grow. And actually what I need to do, which I'm in control of, is to turn off that tap of oxygen and starve that flame. And that's what I did, because I had to let this person go and do their thing.
Yeah, you can't change them.
And they may not like me from it. They may think I'm a horrible person, but I've got to let them, because I can't control how they feel about me anyway. And I think the thing that I've learned about the book, same with like my son. So he's choosing his his courses for college.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm very much on the business. Let's go make some money. You know, I've got a plan for you. You just stick to that plan. Yeah. But, you know, he wanted to do a slightly different topic, and, you know, he came and spoke to me about it and said, you know, Dad, I think I want to maybe do this instead, and, you know, don't be angry about it, kind of thing, or don't be upset with me. And, you know, and at first my initial reaction was,
what are you doing?
Yeah, I want you to do business. But then, you know, I still have to come to the point where I say, but if that's what you want to do, Tyler, then you have to go do it. It doesn't matter how I feel about it.
Whatever lesson it teaches you.
Exactly. And so, you know, the let them theory helped me with that, because I thought, you know, normally I would say, well, nope, we need to do this, we've got to do this. And
this is what's best.
But ultimately, he's a young man and he's got to make his own decisions. And, you know, if he feels very strongly that he wants to do this, we were talking about this in the car at the weekend. We were coming home from Alton Towers and we were talking just about college and what he was going to do. And, you know, if he gets these results, what's that going to mean? If he doesn't get them, what's that going to mean? And, you know, because I always like to have a plan
he's like
B.
you. I was going to say he's got a plan A to Z. Wow.
Well, he didn't at the time, but he does now. And, you know, and he was saying, well, I think I might want to go do this. And as much as I might say, well, I want you to go and follow in the family business.
Yeah.
If that's not what he wants to do, then my job is not to say, well, you have to do it. You know? My job is to say, well, if that's what you want, then you have to go do it. And I think that's been a good parent too. But the let them theory for me has helped me massively in that I don't have to be in a role that I don't want to be in. Mm-hmm. And that's what's helped me a lot.
So I think it's amazing that you've got that from it, because I'm still not there.
Okay.
My whole let them theory is about controlling other people's emotions and reactions. Because as an empath and as somebody who's always tried to fit in or people please, it killed me that people didn't always react or behave in the way that I would expect them to, and that killed me. And that's both in relationships, work, and friendships.
Yeah.
As the glass child, I'm always the one that is also organizing all the Christmas together. As I'm the one that's organizing what the baby showers are, where we're going on the hens. Like, I do everything. Yeah. And then when I turn up to these things, if people weren't as happy or grateful or having as much fun as I wanted them to, it would consume me. But that's where I apply the let them. Like, just let them be the way that they want to be. If they don't think being at Mago's rodeo, riding the buck and bongo is cool, that's on them.
How can they not think that's
We're
cool?
going to delete their number after this. We're never going to hang out again.
Block.
We're not friends. And to just let them, and that's difficult as an empath.
Yeah.
But I love that you don't take the responsibility. I need to apply that. I'm not there yet. Maybe I need to read the book again. I still hold myself responsible for looking after my family massively.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's triggered from my history and how we got here. And we didn't have the safety and security, and I feel like I have now created that. It is my responsibility, not in life but mentally, to keep providing that. And at the moment, actually, it's relatively easy to do, so I'm going to continue to do that. It's really hard for me to turn the let them theory on when my siblings are coming to me with problems. Because the old me is still like, well, it's my responsibility to fix it.
Yeah.
But I am learning to let go a little bit more.
That's good.
With both my siblings, whether it's relationships, careers, personal life, even little things. Like Shad got at his house a couple of years ago and he was decorating, and I was like, what are you doing? what are you doing? I would go to TK Maxx and I'd buy all this stuff for him. I'd be like, this would look really nice here. And I would insist. And then I'd turn up for Christmas and it wouldn't be there. And that's the kind of stuff that you just like, you got to let it go, man. It's not important. It shouldn't consume you. Choose your battles. That's the big one.
Yeah.
To become waterproof is let them, protect yourself, and also choose your battles. Choose when you want to be an empath and when you want to absorb it. Yeah. Because it's human nature to still have that bit in you. Don't let that die.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I will always be the person that if it all goes wrong, I want to be the person that someone will call.
People come to. Yeah. So you don't want that part of you to die. That's who you are. Yeah. I just don't want it to be dependent on you.
Yeah. And I think that's the true for a lot of, like you were saying with, you are an organizer. Yeah. Even when we're going to Glasgow and we're doing something, you're straight on, right, I'll sort it all out. Yeah. But actually sometimes it's good to let someone else do it.
Yeah. What was it like for you for that I organized that whole day?
Well, I'm an organizer too, as you know.
But did it bother you that you didn't get to organize it, or was it nice to take a seat back? Like, how did you feel? Because you had messaged to say, basically Adam and I are going on a day out in a couple of weeks, and we had come up with like an itinerary for the day. Yeah. And then you had said, let me know what you want me to do and what you're doing. Yes. And my next message was, this has been booked, that's been booked, this is what we're doing.
And I'm like, holy hell.
Yeah. Like, did you feel like, oh, this is so nice to take a step back? Or were you a bit like, well, I want to do something?
I'm a control freak, yeah. So I'm like, well, what can I do? Yeah.
I can give you some things. You can think of things to do.
It goes on my list and then bang, I get it done.
Is that why you're not coming to the spa? Are you mad at me?
Do you know, if I could take a full day out to go to a spa, I would love to do that. Serious.
I'm making the day, man.
Oh, you should.
I'm doing it.
We can wrap this all up in like a birthday thing for you. That would be nice.
Yeah.
So how did it feel? No, I think I'm like a short bursts kind of guy. You know what I mean? So I'm like very much like, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do this and I'm going to go on to this. And
okay.
So I like being in control of my diary because then, I like doing stuff because I think it gives me this sense of control.
Yeah.
Because I've learned when sometimes, this isn't with you by the way, but like with other people, sometimes I can say, oh, can you just organize this?
It's never good enough.
And then, or it's not done.
Oh no.
I said to one of the girls.
It's not good enough.
One of the girls who works with us, she's organizing the Christmas party this year. And so
not going to be Glen Eagles.
I left it to somebody else last year and then we didn't end up with a Christmas party. And I love Christmas parties.
I know, yeah.
I mean, I love it.
You guys went to the Trump overnight the year before.
Yeah,
it was
I know.
So bougie.
Which I organized.
Of course you did. Yeah.
So this year I've delegated it to somebody else and I said, now listen, if you don't do this, you're not going to let yourself down, but you're going to let me down. Team. Christmas will be ruined.
All the patience.
So everything. It better happen. Yeah. So anyway, I left it with her. And so it was like a poll, she was like being very diplomatic. I'm just going to ask everybody. I was like, big mistake.
Yeah.
Don't ask everybody.
Too many cooks.
Yeah. And so, before you know it, and there's 23 people that work at house now. So it's
That's a lot.
It's a big machine. And 23 different options, practically. I'm like, I told you this, just pick an option. So now I'm itching because I like to just get in and say, just do this, do this, do this.
You've got to let them.
I know. And so this is where I'm learning with the book again, that I've just got to let her get on with it. But I've said to her, there will be consequences.
You have standards though. Like what if you end up in Butlins?
That won't happen. Although, have you heard about these things at Butlins? It's the over 30s parties. Have you heard of this?
No.
Oh my God.
I would do it.
Yeah. So it's like a club weekend of like 80s, 90s, 2000s music, and you go for like a weekend at Butlins. But it's adults only.
I would do it.
Have you also heard about these like weekend parties that start at like lunchtime and then they finish at 8 o'clock?
My idea of heaven.
30s plus only.
I want to do
And it's like Beyonce, Spice Girls.
Why don't I know about this stuff?
We need to do one of these.
That's what you could organize for our next get together. I've organized our one and you have vetoed the spa, which is the best bit. So I have to go on my own.
Okay, I'm going to have to...
But you can do the next one, yeah.
Maybe
rethink the spa.
Yeah, okay. I'll consult my diary.
Yeah.
So is there anything... So for anyone else that's kind of listening to this that is in this position where things are impacting them that maybe they don't want to impact them in the same way, or they're under some kind of like control or things are happening in their life, what advice would you give them as it relates to letting people just be who they are?
Listen to your gut. That's so big for me. Because my sister's a big one for this, and I have a couple of friends as well. They go, but I don't know. You do know. You do know. But sometimes what you know is the right thing to do is scary.
Yeah.
You got to listen to your gut. If you're in an environment and it's uncomfortable or it makes you feel a certain way, listen to your gut. You're not supposed to be there. Even if the answer that is in your brain and in your heart is scary, or you think you're going to lose friends, or it's going to be controversial, or people are not going to like you, then let them do that, and you got to protect your energy.
Yeah.
That's the big one. Do you know where your gut instinct comes from? Have you heard this? Like, we've lived this life before.
Yeah, you told me this before, yeah.
I believe it. So we've all lived this life before. And our gut is our old self saying, last time we did this, you made that decision and it was chaos. So I'm telling you, do this one. And it's your, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, your guardian angel, guiding you to do the right thing because last time you did the wrong thing. So like, listen to your guts. Listen to your gut. And anytime you haven't listened to your gut and you've repeated the same mistake you did last time, you go, I knew I should have done the other thing. So that's my big one. If you're in a situation where you don't know, you do know. Listen to your gut and just let them. Yeah. Let them. Whatever is going to happen, let it be. It is. You can't control it anyway, like you say. You can't make people like you anyway.
I agree. Yeah. And I think, so much of life's stress comes from other people's, or your
perception of people's energy.
Exactly, yeah. Of how you feel about what other people think of you. And actually, you don't need to worry about it. And I know that's easier said than done because we're all human, we're social, we want to be liked. But at the same time, like, life is too short to be worrying about whether someone, whether you got invited to the party, or if you wore the right outfit, or if you said the right thing, And also, sometimes you do have to make tough decisions and not spend time with people that are repeat offenders. I've talked to you about this before. For me,
you're one strike and you're out.
Well, I'm a little bit more lenient now.
I'm like 5.
That was a bit brutal. I went through a brutal stage, and I'm a bit more now. But Connor was like, Adam, you can't be so like this.
I can delete people.
They literally looked at you wrong once, and now you've blocked them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've got high standards.
Yeah.
But no, I've learned now that people get a couple of chances. But then that's it. And I'm not going to, if your mind body is a castle in a moat that surrounds it and the drawbridge comes down, at some point you do have to pull the drawbridge up and say, like, enough, you've had your chance now. And I think that's easier with acquaintances. It's harder with friends. It's even more hard with family.
Yeah.
But it's no different. And I've done it with all three. And obviously it is hard when it's family, but at the same time, someone said to me the other day, how could you, so I don't have a very good relationship with my biological father. And that drawbridge is up. He's had enough chances over the years to be there and has chosen not to be. Yeah. So the drawbridge is up now. I don't need
all the excuses are out.
Exactly. And, same with other people in my life that have come and gone, friends that I've had that I'm not friends with anymore. And there has to come a point where you think, if I don't pull the drawbridge up, it's going to happen again.
It's going to be another Trojan horse over and over and over again.
And it does. It happens over and over. And so, I think for me, my gut, where I draw from is, I've had a lot of instances where people have burnt those bridges, and I've put the drawbridge down one last time against my better judgment, and sure enough, it's been burned. Yeah. And so, I think for people that are in that situation, life actually doesn't need to be stressful when it comes to relationships if you know the boundaries that you're prepared to let people into.
Yeah.
I do have an inner circle, I have an outer circle, and then there's the wider world. And, for me, people that are in that inner circle have earned their stripes. They have proven themselves. And I don't need to
recheck them or test them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They've proven themselves.
That's exactly what I say about friendships. A true friendship is the one that you don't have to babysit anymore.
Yeah.
I can pick up the phone in 5 weeks and you're not going to be like, where have you been? It's normal because I respect that you're busy and I respect that I'm busy, but I also trust what we have. Yeah. Like, I don't need to babysit you. I have one friend like that. One friend that I could go a year without messaging her, and then we'll see each other, and there's no animosity, there's no passive aggressiveness. It just is what it is because we trust what we have. Yeah. But that drawbridge thing that you're saying about letting people in also goes into one of our other episodes that we talked about, that I was saying you got to see people for who they are and not what you want them to be, because people do present as Trojan horses, and you let that horse in because you think it's a gift. You're like, okay, one more time, we're going to be fine. And it just diseases your castle. And sometimes you also got to let that happen so you can learn your lesson, to listen to your gut the next time.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's hard. It's hard to be waterproof and still be human. I think people need to, I want to acknowledge that as well. You can't be completely waterproof. Sometimes you got to make mistakes, and you still will. You got to cut yourself some slack.
I agree.
It's okay.
I think as well, it's not a bad thing to have boundaries with people. You know, I think sometimes there's this perception that, oh, well, you must be really cold, or, you know, that's really difficult to do that. But actually, it's just about having self-respect and self-worth, that I'm not prepared to give you the ability to infect me with your drama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's huge.
I think more about myself than that. And also, I think you have to protect what's between your ears. If I want to be a great husband, a great dad, a great boss, a great friend, I have to be in a great place. Last year I went through a really tough, it was my lobster shell cracking year, for sure.
Got loads of them
coming. And what I've learned through the last 12 months, which I would say is in the top 3 hardest moments of my life actually last year, was that I have to make sure that my mind is strong and I protect what goes in, because if it's not strong, I can't be a great husband, I can't be a great dad, I can't be a great friend. And I make not the wrong decisions, but they take me longer to make because I'm not
and you're dragging.
Clouded. So this is where the let them theories really help me, because I now look at everything as a choice. Do I let the person offload to me, and do I take it on board, or do I not? I can still listen. I can still be a friend and put my arm around them and say, that's great. And if I was you, I'd maybe do this. And don't worry, you're going to get through it. But then I don't take on board the baggage. I have to, that's not mine to carry. It's yours to carry, but I'm going to walk with you as you do it. You know, and I think that's quite an important thing, that I'm not leaving people behind or walking away from them. It's the opposite. I'm going to be strong as you carry your weight, and then we'll figure it out together.
I'm going to let you do you. And I'm not good. So is that your take-home message from today?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's protect your mind, protect your heart, you know, your soul, whatever you describe as who you are as an individual. Protect that, and don't let other people put their stuff onto you, whatever that is. Be mindful that your mind, heart, soul, body is, you've only got the capacity for so much. And for you to be the best that you can be, you do have to let other people sometimes
let them
keep hold of their own baggage. You
got to put your own oxygen mask on before you help anybody else.
Exactly. What would yours be?
My takeaway is actually what you've just said in the podcast today, is that it's not my responsibility to look after everyone. And that's really hard. I'm still learning that. It's not my responsibility to be at everybody's beck and call. And if that relieves a little bit of the stones in my backpack that I shouldn't be carrying, then I'm gonna revel in that.
Good.
That's a big one.
I like that.
So if you've learned anything from today's podcast, then like, share, subscribe, send to your friends and family, and we hope that you've been inspired enough to come back for more episodes, and can't wait to see you again soon.
Bye. This is the Life Lift podcast with Adam and Kaly, where we look at how to make shift happen. From our home to yours, we hope you feel inspired and motivated to do at least one thing differently today as you make your own shift happen towards a more rewarding and fulfilling life filled with purpose and happiness.